Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish. Okay, it's go time. I mean, for real this time. Yay, it's working. Y'all, I was doing all the little, yamma jamma rama things over here on, and for whatever reason, my phone is also having just one heck of a time. But I've been working on this, on my little stitches and doing the things. And then don't you know, I look at the clock, it's 1:07. I never do that. All right, so I'm putting this up here, y'all. And we're going to be talking about, oh, goodness gracious. We're going to be talking about, now you see just what I just did? I got everything ready for TikTok. We're going to be talking about something today that I think is a real needle mover that I cannot wait to share with you, because it's all about deliberate creation. And we're going to be unpacking deliberate creation a whole heck of a lot more in Full Bloom, which, by the way, Nancy, cheers. I don't even have my water with me, but it's upstairs. But anyway, we're going to be unpacking all of that as and it's funny that I'm saying this because Nancy's packing right now for Full Bloom. And by the way, if you are all about Full Bloom and want to be a part of Full Bloom, it's real simple. savingdinner.com/bloom. That's where all the information is. Okay. So we're going to talk about deliberate creation today. And I will tell you, again, what I've been doing is kind of picking and choosing, like a buffet table, the most impactful, what I would consider most impactful daily dishes all this week. Next week, we're going to have a little bit of a shortened schedule. Jenny's going to be in on Tuesday. Thursday, Amber's coming in. And then Friday, we're all about Full Bloom. So we've got a lot going on all this next week. And with your help, you're gonna be probably, we're gonna do a show on maybe Monday for sure, and then the rest of the week maybe we'll do another one on Thursday. That will be it. And the reason why we're going to adjust the schedule is just because of the sheer amount of stuff that we have to do. My full attention next week is going to be on every single one of our Full Bloom attendees, whether you are here or whether you are, doing the virtual, enjoying the virtual workshop that we will be doing as well. Oh, I wish you were going to be here, Juanita. That would have been so fun. So anyway, I just want to say hello to everyone. Jane and Corliss and Catherine and Carla, Juanita, Deborah's here in the house as well. We have Francesca and Jocelyn is here as well. Corliss, Flynn made it. So it's all good to see you all. And if I'm missing anybody, I love you and whatever. So also, don't forget, we do have a page that we have set up just for you. That page contains everything that you need to know about for the week here at Saving Dinner. You go to savingdinner.com/announcements, and there you are. And there's our girl Diane and Anne. It's good to have you here. Our quote of the week, of course, is vibrant lives don't just happen. They are planned for and they are worked for. And that is sort of our theme of the week. Okay, so we're going to go live on TikTok as well as going live here on Facebook, on YouTube, and welcome to TikTok. It's great to have you here. So today we're talking about deliberate creation. Deliberate creation. And again, the announcement thing is right there for you if you need that. savingdinner.com/announcements. Okay. So there, that's placed, and we can remove that now. Jenny, take it away. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. I just have this feeling. Anyway, deliberate creation is basically experiencing what you think about. Have you ever seen that before? Have you ever put that into play? That deliberate creation is basically experiencing what you think about. And we know this, right? We know this if we think about it, we spend time on, we put energy into it. We know this if we put our focus on to it. You know what that's about. When you put in your focus onto something, that means that that's where your energy deserves to go. And you are telling your brain something by having your focus on that thing. And that's where the deliberate creation comes into, whether you like it or not. Okay? Hang with me. There's a lot here to unpack. And again, this one's a little bit of a like a mind blower, because it's going to help you on what you want your focus to be and what you don't want your focus to be. That's really important. So we will create more of it simply because of what it is that we're thinking about, and have it come back into our lives, whether it's positive or whether it's negative. It's just that simple. That's how this whole thing works. It doesn't matter, positive or negative. Positive or negative. If you're putting your energy and your thoughts and your emotion and all of your basically your emotional currency, and your emotional capital into this, then it doesn't matter, negative or positive, it's going to come back to you. So your brain doesn't set out, but this is important too, because we think that the protective measure that we have is because we're intelligent beings. We think that our brains are, basically looking out for us. They are not. Now, hear me. Because if you have an alert, if you all of a sudden start feeling bad about something, or you have a bad thought or whatever, there's no flag, there's no alert sent to you. If you're angry about something, or you don't want it, or you actually want the opposite of what it is, it doesn't matter. Your brain doesn't have a moral compass the way we think that they do. We give our brains credit for that. And yes, of course, there are places where we do all that extensive thinking and what have you, and we're able to sort out, this is right, this is wrong, and that kind of thing. Sure. But the initial part of our brain is not to sit there and to sort for you, but instead to say, oh, she's thinking about that, then okay, that must be the thing that we're supposed to deliberately create. Okay? You following me on all this? I know it's a lot, but the attracting of your thoughts, they are the point of your attraction, right? The point of attraction is your thought. And the fuel is the emotion that goes right behind them. Because now your brain, remember this, because we did the whole thing with the concert pianist, your brain does not know the difference between really living something and doing it, or reliving it and repeating it in your head. There's no difference. We've seen this in the brain, how the brain functions, and they've been actually able to measure brain waves in your head. And they did this with a concert pianist. I've shared this a million times before, but I think it's so profound. They had a concert pianist play, and he was all hooked up to all these, gizmos and gadgets on his head. And they showed the brainwave as he was playing. And then they asked him to do it again. And this time, just play the desktop, but have the same feelings he had when he was playing the piano, and the same way. And you've seen concert pianists. These guys aren't just like sitting there going, chopsticks, bump, 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 bump. No, they get into it. They're into it. You've seen them. They're going back and forth, and they're feeling the music. You can feel the music if you've ever been to a concert and watched a concert pianist. You can feel it. And don't you know that when they did those brain waves, whether he was playing or pretending to play, the brainwave was exactly the same. The same patterns happened right there in this man's head. That's how profound your thoughts are when they're backed by emotions, and it's part of the whole thing. This is what we call the reticular activating system, right? The reticular activating system goes out and looks for evidence to support the things that we're thinking about. This is why when we see This is why when we see somebody, see a car, for example, on the highway, and that's the car that we have made a decision about, it is suddenly on our radar screen, and our reticular activating system is now picking out all the blue Priuses on the highway, because now you have alerted your brain to it. It's exactly what happens with all of that. What would be your weapon of choice in a food fight to the death? Interesting, interesting question. I don't know. I'd have to think about that one. So that's a very sophisticated part of your brain. You know that one, right? It's very sophisticated, but it only grasps the subject, right? Not the full extent of what your thought is, like the idea of this car, not the full extent of what ownership would mean with it, and what's your insurance going to be like, how do you find places to get the electric that you're going to need if you're having an all electric vehicle, all of that stuff. So it's not the full concept, it's the subject mind, essentially. This is because your brain is very much like training a dog, right? Simple commands. Our brains understand, just like a dog, simple commands. So when I have a dog named Lincoln, my little silver lab. He's no longer a puppy, he's almost 18 months. But you know that when you are training a dog, simple commands work best, because dogs, they can be smart, and they can be, for dogs, right? We're talking in dog terms. But you can mess them up if you're going to really muddle up the command. So it's sit means sit. And you never say to a dog, don't sit, because that's going to mess them up. They're like, what? I mean, dogs don't get don't. Either does your brain, by the way. And this is why we need to always be speaking to our brains in the positive and not putting in the don't, because the don't will just get taken out of the mix, and that dog's going to sit just like the dog, right? So our intentions and affirmations always need to be in the positive, and put into the as positive and as present term as well, not for the future. When you ask a dog to sit, you're asking a dog to sit right now. You're not saying sit in 10 minutes. You're not saying you should have sat, half an hour ago. It's sit right now. Your brain is a lot like that dog, and your dog, you need to teach that dog to sit when it's time to sit. So keep your intentions, your affirmations, keep them in present tense, and keep them positive, and keep them very, very simple. If you keep them simple, it's not hard to ascertain exactly what's going on and what this creative intention, deliberate intention, and deliberate creation is all about. So if we want to create something different, we have to start with our thoughts, right? Who knew, right? The thing that I love about this, by the way, and I just have to put this in there, when we start to really address our mindset and address our thoughts and address the things in our lives that we want to change, we can make that happen simply by simplifying and creating an easier way to get to this end. It doesn't have to be complex. It doesn't have to be difficult. It doesn't have to be all day. It doesn't have to take up your entire life. It's simply adjusting your thought processes and putting your energy and your emotional capital into the thing you want, not the thing you don't. Okay? So if we want to create something different, we've got to watch our language. Got to watch it. So struggle, when you say struggle, you know what struggle is? Struggle is attraction for more struggle. That's what it is. And when you say it's hard, it's too hard, you're going to get more hard. When you say I can't, you look for proof in your body. You're going to produce evidence that says that you can't. And then you're like, see, here it is. And impossible, you're going to get more of the impossible. This is how this whole thing works. Yeah buts are another way that we do this. We've discussed yeah buts up the yin yang, haven't we? But yeah buts are, we acknowledge, it's sort of, it's almost dismissive, because you're saying, yeah, but that doesn't apply to me. Yeah, but it's too hard for me. Yeah, but, it's an exceptionalism type of a throwdown. In other words, it might work for everybody else, but it'll never work for me. And then, of course, We agree. But we all have reasons why it's not feasible, don't we? So a lot of energy goes into yeah butting, by the way. A ton of energy goes into yeah butting, and it gets you nowhere fast. So we've got to magnify the kind of action that we want by deliberately creating the exact thing that we want. So let's say it's a hot milk lifestyle. And I like this one because this is really, it's real black and white. And, the hot milk sprint, of course, is something we offer for free. By the way, it's at savingdinner.com/sprint. If you've never gotten that, it's a 7-day anti-inflammatory plan. But it's just the kickoff to an anti-inflammatory lifestyle that my hope, my whole aspiration for you is to get you to the place of becoming an intuitive eater and stop dieting. Get off the carousel of crazy. Amen. Pinkies up on that one. So this requires a couple of different factors, and I'm going to use this whole idea of deliberate creation to show you exactly what this is. And number one would be a launch pad. What is it? What is it? You got to launch into anything that you want with a hot burning desire to say, this is what I want to have in my life. A hot desire goes behind all of it. A hot desire is a motive, and a hot desire will light you up. The website is savingdinner.com/it's sprint. I almost said stop craving. No, it's not that one because I was doing some TikToks just a little bit ago, y'all. So anyway, the hot milk sprint is the beginning. The hot milk sprint is the launch pad. And it gives you the philosophy. It gives you everything. There's an 18-page guide. It's all free, by the way, ST Harley, right there. It's all free. And the reason that I'm doing this is because one of my missions in life is to get women off the carousel of crazy of this perpetual dieting. I think it's useless. And it's taken up way too much of our brain space. It's taken up way too much of our lives. And we're worth so much more than that. But on the other hand, as a nutritionist, I also want to see you in a place where you're not eating in a way that is making you miserable. An anti-inflammatory lifestyle is where it's at. If you want to be an active adult, and you want to keep things going and you want to preserve muscles and bones and all of that, then there are things that we need to do in order to do that. And getting to the place of being just an intuitive eater, an anti-inflammatory eater. Can you imagine? Yes, you can. And that's why I'm telling you about all of this. So number two on this whole idea of one is the launch pad with the hot desire. And number two is expect, allow, and receive, right? Expect the good, expect the support, the ideas, the creative thinking to achieve this goal. It's that simple. It's high cholesterol due to inflammation. That is, yes, it is. That is one of the reasons why, and it's usually inflammatory that it goes with. So that's fine. So allow for the bumps. Okay, the bumps are along the road are that you are not going to do this perfectly. You're going to do it excellently. But things will happen, stuff will pop up. You're going to, find yourself doing great, and then all of a sudden one day that you find yourself in a drive-through situation, or you find yourself at a party and you just get a little bit carried away. That doesn't mean that, you can't do it. It just means that you had a bump, right? Can we just start and start accepting ourselves for the times that we flub up and make a mistake, or that we have like a big, fallout? I make rules for myself, and it really helps. And it's this, that if I'm going to have like a bad meal or have something and just kind of go off the rails a little bit, I don't do it for 2 meals in a row. I don't take a day off, right? I might take a meal off, but that's it, because it's too easy otherwise, personally for me, to get dragged down and then to get really, pushed down. Food can be an addictive substance. Food is an addictive substance, and the food industrial complex has made sure that it is. So if you're eating any kind of processed foods, anything that you have to pop open a bag to get to, cookies, chips, and all the rest of it, all the snack foods out there, those are all addictive substances. They put addictive substances in it. And that's why people are hooked. People don't get hooked on steak and broccoli. They get hooked on things that are processed in a manufacturing plant that you have to pop open a bag or a can or something with. Do you get it? Yes, it does. She's asking about, I've got Purple Dragon over here is asking about L-Glutamine. It is helpful for addictive glutamine, not glutamate, glutamine, Rocky. Glutamine is super helpful because, a craving is a craving is a craving. And cravings are that intensity showing you that there is what we have brewing right there is an addiction, right? The craving is the first thing that says, hey, there's an addiction over here. So we've got to deal with that. And this is how we get to this place. And even in recovery, and we all know this, right? In people who are in some kind of recovery, it's never just the straight line. You don't do it perfectly. There is bumps involved, and the love and the kindness and the support that we can offer somebody who is in recovery and ourselves when we're in this place of trying to get to this place of getting off the carousel of crazy with all that stupid dieting and start to live our lives in a way that says intuitive eating is my guidepost. This is how I'm going to live my life. Changes everything. It changes everything. But one of the things that we do when we get to that bump, what happens when we're in that place of a bump, we don't just dismiss it. We don't just say, oh, well, next time or whatever. We look for the lesson that's there. And this is how we learn from our mistakes. Now, I call it the experience file, The experience file is where we say, okay, so that was a mistake. Setting myself up to fail. Setting myself up for, all kinds of, mistakes along the way. I need to stay away from that street and not drive down that street so I won't be tempted to drive through the drive-through or whatever it is. But we need to have the wherewithal to have the intention to analyze what just happened here. We don't have to have this big beat up session. We just need to understand what the heck just happened. What can I do to fix that so I'm not going to have that kind of issue in next. And yes, this is so true. This is what Purple Dragon's saying. She's saying that cravings are the hardest thing to deal with, and she's trying really hard. And, we can try and try and try, but we need help. Do you need help? Don't we all need help to go to the next level? Yes, we do. And we can't do it if we are getting knuckled down by one thing. And that's why we keep looking at cravings like this, because a craving will take you down. But we can do things in order to trick our brains a little bit, because that's what it's all about, and get into the weeds a little bit and make sure that we can take away the cravings so that we can start dealing with the addiction. And that includes we who are addicted to food. I've been very plain that I'm a food addict and I'm a recovering food addict. And this is why I've made a food rule for myself. Never 2 meals in a row, ever. So if you go a little bit bonkers on something, you need to make rules for yourself. This is what I will do, but this is what I will not do. I won't cross this line because I know what it is to be 240 pounds and absolutely miserable, every step hurting. I know what it is to have a thyroid full of nodules and my hair falling out in the handfuls and just feeling like crap all day long, full of pain, full of everything. And I also know what it's like to get over all of that and to be on the other side of it. I'll never go back there again. There is not enough tea in China to get me back into that place again. And that's why I'm saying we have to start this way. We have to expect, we have to allow, and we have to receive. You will make mistakes. Let it be so, but learn from it. This is your experience lesson. Pull the lesson out, leave the rest of it behind, and allow it to be your teacher. Then we can move on. Amen? That's the most important thing. So when we address our thoughts as deliberate creators for the vibrant lives we want to lead, we're saying yes to the flow. We are saying yes to flow in our lives. We're saying yes to, yes, I want to get off the carousel of crazy. Yes, I want to learn how to become an intuitive eater and reclaim my life back, right? That's what this is all about. We're saying no to willpower because willpower, we know, does not work. We set up instead, we set up a curated environment that supports the very life that we want to live. Everywhere we look, we see something that is some kind of something that is encouraging and supporting us. We have the quote decks for that. We have a few quote decks left with quotes that light you up, and you think about all of those different things and how that they help support you. We have curated pantries and all of the rest of it. This is what we do in order to create the lifestyle that we want to live. A vibrant lifestyle is planned for and worked for. It doesn't just happen, right? It doesn't just happen. So no more walking that fine line of desire and fear. It doesn't have to be like that. What you want is on the other side of fear, but it's your hot desire that's going to get you over there. And that's how you deliberately create the life that you want to live, the vibrant life that you want to live. And that's what's going to light you up and give you that whole life. So as we deliberately create our thoughts that support these hot desires, we've got to be taking some action, right? Oh, there it goes. We have to take some action. We can't just expect that it's all going to do it itself. Have you noticed that? I don't know about you, but for me, that means that I'm going to have to go do something about everything that I just flapped my lips about. So deliberate creation is merely an acknowledgement of the power of your own thought, right? Because we can't think our way into it. We've got to do our way into it. So the key is to be intentional. It's to be joyful, right? Because joyful is usually lit up by gratitude. Have you noticed that? It's true. And when gratitude is in place and you're thankful for the things that you have and the progress that you are making, you're going to get more of the same. Remember that. That's what we're cultivating with our deliberate creation and our deliberately creative minds. So what if we started with what if and can you imagine? Those are two sentences that I find to be so super helpful for moving the needle in your life. Now, hear me. Instead of saying, I have to eat X, Y, and Z, want, like people do that a lot. Instead of saying that, what if we started saying, I get to eat X, Y, and Z. Instead of saying, I have to exercise, I get to exercise. Instead of saying, I have to hydrate, I get to hydrate. Nobody's coming to your house and turning off the water, are they? The point is, have to, force to, and hate to is not going to help spur you on into the hot, vibrant life that you want at all. Because this is all coming from a place of scarcity and a place of just being put upon, all of that. Instead of, we need to start looking at these things as absolute privileges. Privilege. It gets you, when you start saying, I have to, it's too hard, it's this, that, and the other thing, I don't want to, it's awful, I hate this, I'm forced to, I've got to, and you have that whole attitude with you, you're going to get more of the same of that, right? And it's just a matter of time. Guess what's going to happen? Give up on the whole thing. You'll end up maybe procrastinating, coming up with excuses. And my very favorite, by the way, and this is why I'm saying everything that I'm saying, never 2 meals in a row, because my excuse would be just this once, and then just this twice, just this 3 times, just this 4 times. And the next thing you know, I've slid all the way down and got to start over, because for me, it isn't about eating perfectly or eat any of that. It's about eating excellently and to support that active life that I want to lead. I can't lead an active life if I'm miserable, full of pain, and can't move, right? I can't. So that's why I say all of these things, because there's a great big why behind all of everything that I do. And that's what I'm inviting you into, this idea of thinking about this for yourself. How does this apply to you? So here's a thought that I hope that you can use the rest of this week and see what you think about this. And that is this, and that's to allow hot desire first dibs in your thought process. Okay? Here's the whole thing. We have this tendency to put our thoughts on the negative stuff, on all the garbage, on the things that we don't want. But I'm saying to you, your hot desire, the thing that you want in your life, if you give your thought process over and give it, say, first dibs, and just say, oh, I know all this stuff, I'll think about that later, kind of Scarlett O'Hara it, then you will get to be able to light up your hot desire. You're going to find yourself feeling more guided. You're going to feel delighted. You're going to feel inspired. So it's going to become more fun because you are going to become more creative when you allow your brain to think about the right thing, the thing that you want in your life instead of all the other stuff. Because you've heard this before, thoughts become things. They do. Have you noticed that? My house is an absolute representation of that whole situation. And deliberately creating them become the things that you want. And I'm going to tell you one thing that I know is I want you to have what you want in your life. I want you to have a life that is free of the carousel of crazy and is full of the vibrancy that you want, the way that you custom want to make your life flow. What do you think of that idea? I think it's awesome. I appreciate you so much, and I really appreciate the fact that you showed up, and thank you so much for dealing with me today and my very tardiness. Hey, it was you, because of you over here on TikTok, I was doing some stitches, and so I just got carried away, and next thing I knew, it was late, so we started a little bit late. So thanks for hanging in there with me. I will see you on Monday. In the meantime, have a fabulous weekend. Peace be with you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.